Okay. How you doing?
Who pump your gas? Huh? Okay, New Era. Okay. You knew who pumped your gas? Okay.
You pump your gas tonight? You hear me? You know that.
All right. Thank you. Hey, okay. That's what's up. Thank you.
How you doing?
All right.
Y'all supposed doing? Y'all all right?
I feel real sad right now.
All right, I don't have too much time, but I said I was going to speak on, and I got some other videos lined up, but I said I was going to speak on I got to catch my breath because I was freaking running around. I literally just sat down. But I said I was going to, speak on this whole thing with the guys at the gas station and, what are my thoughts on it. I'm going to tell you what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned that old boomer black people are going to jump up. Because remember, I told you, when it comes to this religion, and I know that I got a lot of people that, they get caught up in religion, but they so want religion to be a thing. They so want it to be the solution of everything, right? If everybody would just do the right thing, then everything would work out, right? Isn't that such a easy and beautiful way of looking at things? Well, if everybody would just do the right thing, then everything would be perfect. But people are not doing the right thing, and in large part, people are not doing the right thing because they don't have the resources. I saw somebody write a comment, and they took it back. But they were talking about, oh, it shouldn't have to be this way, that you got to have armed black men standing outside, a gas station and a bodega in order to protect, for people to feel safe. All right. And a lot of people are talking about, the young kids and what the young kids are doing. Again, I can put myself in their shoes. At the end of the day, we can talk about white supremacy, but even still, a lot of black people fail to even attempt. I don't know whether it's a mental block or just it's not even a topic of conversation. It's like, oh, it's somebody else's job to do it. But I'm saying, yeah, white supremacy's got their foot on our neck. But at the end of the day, nobody set anything up for these young boys. So that's why you're getting carjacked. That's why you're getting robbed. There's no opportunities for them. You already know that. So I don't even know why people sit around and then they start throwing up all the intangible shit. Oh, it's because they took prayer out of the schools. They don't know white Jesus. All the let me use some magic to try to get you all to behave and do the right thing, even though the quality of life for everyday Americans has gone down over the last 60 years. I don't know what people don't get about that. And in large part, I blame, all these white boomers who thought it was such a brilliant idea because, capitalism, right? To go out there, free trade agreements, take jobs overseas. And the reason they did that is to cut cost. And this is going to go on until there's either a new world order, or B, all the poor people, all the average people in the world get over their racism, get over their bullshit, and recognize that the primary issue is class warfare. I'm not saying that the system has to be communism or socialism, but all this shit with nationalism, all the corporations don't have borders. Corporations, while they're sitting there telling you, oh, it's U.S. versus China, oh, it's U.S. versus Russia, oh, it's Russia versus China, oh, it's Russia and Syria, oh, it's Iraq versus U.S. When they telling you all this bullshit, corporations don't give a fuck. Corporations are like, oh, just like that video I just posted about the Chinese in Ethiopia. The Chinese, we already know the Chinese ain't being paid shit to make iPhones and everything else, right? The Chinese dude in the video said it's even cheaper to manufacture goods in Africa, in Ethiopia, and this was what, what was this, 5 years ago, than it is to do it in China. You see, so corporations don't have borders. They can go anywhere in the world, and all they're going to do is jump around, right? And everything look good for a period of time. Oh, we're giving them jobs and we're lifting them out of poverty. Yeah, and the standard of living is going to go up and up and up, and the cost of things are going to go up and up and up because merchants are going to be like, hey, these people got more money. Let's charge more, right? So the cost of living goes up and up and up until it gets to a breaking point, which is basically what you see in America with, oh, you want a 4-bedroom house with a 2-car garage? Oh, that'll be, $500,000. You see, so the breaking point, is coming, for even other countries that are developing, because eventually the standard of living will go up, the cost will go up, workers will form unions and say we need to be paid more, and the corporations will be like, oh, fuck that shit, and they'll pick up their bags and they'll go to another country that's even poorer, or another country that just got out of 20 years of civil war or famine or just some sort of conflict, and then they'll go there and they'll pay them people pennies on the dollar, which they'll be so happy to get because somebody came through and stimulated the economy, and then they'll do that until the standard of living goes up, and then they'll decide somewhere else. Now, the big question is, what happens when the whole world is developed? Who's going to be the poors? Who's going to be the cheap labor? All of this is about cheap labor. All of this is about not paying people. While everybody's sitting around pointing the fingers, oh, black people this, oh, white people this, da-da-da-da-da. If you make less than X amount of dollars, okay, if you're not balling out of control and you don't have 17 streams of income, use a poor, okay? And people who have to, if you, now I'll be more specific. If you got to get up every day and go somewhere and physically be there for the duration of the day, the time period that you're there is the time that you get paid. You work for somebody else. You don't work for yourself. You're getting paid a paycheck. And if you have anything to do with any sort of labor that produces or manufactures anything, which is very little in America right now, everything's like social services and all this stuff with online with tech companies and stuff. And you see right now, all the tech people are getting laid off. Okay, because now they're like, shit, fuck that. Why do I need to hire you when I can just do, GPT chat? Why do I need to hire, an artist when I can literally get freaking Dolly 2 to make a comic book for me? I mean, there's so much stuff that you can do with Dolly 2. It's insane. Like anybody who need, just basic art. Like just basic, I need a logo. I need a picture. Like I could, from this day forward, I could literally, how like I gotta go and I gotta find pictures on Google to be the thumbnail for the background and kind of like speak to what I'm talking about. I don't have to do that. I can literally go on Dolly 2, type in whatever the hell I want. It'll come up, it'll give me an image, and then bam, I'll be able to go and put that on, what the hell do you want to call it? Put that on, as the thumbnail, as the background. Again, if you don't believe me, go in there and try it. Go in there and try it. And just let your imagination run wild. It will draw the picture for you. It could be a real picture. It could look like a real picture. It could be a picture that looks like Picasso, that looks like Van Gogh. you know what I'm saying, that looks like Basquiat. You know what I'm saying? Like you can just tell it what, and it'll just make it. You can say draw with a pencil. You can say draw with a marker, a fluorescent marker. Draw me a painting with a fluorescent marker. Like anything, it'll come right up. And I'm telling you, you can take these images, blow them up, frame them, put them on a wall, and people will be like, "Oh my God, that's an amazing picture that you got in your house." Like it's that fucking good. It's that good. Okay, so like I said in another video that I have, where tech is going and all this other shit, universal basic income is a must. It's going to have to be, I mean, this is what transitioning towards a tier one civilization, which I know we're far away from. This is what it's going to be all about. Otherwise, we're going to go head towards a dystopian future where a very small percentage of the population has the wealth, and basically everybody's their bitch. And they get to define anything that they want. They can define the culture, they can define and everybody's going to comply, because if you don't comply, you don't eat. Okay? You can't survive. You can't live. You see, and I'm telling you, it'll be that whole Matt Damon, Elysium. They're up there on the freaking, the damn ring, and you're down there on dirty earth. You think I'm playing? I'm not playing. This is where the shit is going. If you draw it all the way out, draw the scenario out. Granted, some people may not care. They'll be like, "Oh, I'll be dead by then." But I'm saying your children will be subject to this shit. They draw it all the way out. This is where it's going. Because as soon as they get to a point where they don't need, actual physical manual labor, once they get to the fuck it, we have robots doing the work. We don't need you to do the work. Then whoever controls the robots basically controls the world. You see? And they can just arbitrarily decide who eats and who doesn't, on top of whoever controls the land, whoever buys up the land or has access to the land. This is why they want to eliminate basically everything that America supposedly, originally stood for, at least as it pertained to just the white people, because, they had racism and slavery and all that shit. But I'm saying, freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of ideas, an adversarial system, challenging, segments of government, segments of government that can check each other, a civilian population that can be armed if the government gets real stupid, right? You see this in China. I don't know why people always, we got to get rid of the Second Amendment because people are killing each other, right? And it's like, I personally think they want that to continue to happen, because the more people, the worse shit gets, the more you will have people who are emotionally unstable. And the more emotionally unstable people will go out there inevitably and go and commit a mass murder or something like that. And then the government will say, see, you got to give us all your guns. You got to give us all your weapons. You got to give it to us, right? Meanwhile, there's no economic opportunities. There's no businesses, like people are just barely scraping by, and that'll be the new normal. And the white conservatives will still be over there with less and less screaming personal responsibility, hanging on to their racism. Okay. And then, people will, again, they create the problem, and then they sell you the solution, right? And then it's Senator Palpatine, give me supreme emergency powers, right? And then they do whatever the hell they want after that point. All those people that were out there protesting, you should see the roundup in China. All those people that were out there protesting, talking about, down with Xi Jinping, right? All those people have been rounded up. They got freaking China is 1984, freaking Big Brother. They got cameras all over the place. They tracked people via their cell phones, their WeChat. It's so easy for them to round people. Oh, you were here, you were there, blah, 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 blah. You must have been a part of the protest. Round them up, send them to the camp to be re-educated, right? And then the motherfucker disappear for 9 months. Like Jack Ma, and then they come back, and then they're like zombies and shit. Like somebody took out their frontal lobe or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it is. All that, connected to like what you're seeing. There's a problem at the macro level, the societal level, the way the whole system works. Yes, white people, I'm looking at you because you're fucking up the world. And then you got the ground level where you get these people that like it's like they become the fucking enforcers of the system. They become enforcers, and all they got to do, all the system has to do is just make it work just a little bit for like just a small fraction of people. And those people will be screaming the loudest about how, you don't have this or have that because you're not trying hard enough. And like I said, the boomers are fucking up because that they're letting what was used to be strictly a black thing, they're letting that shit spill onto the up and coming young white folks that can't get their lives started and can't purchase houses and all this other shit. And then you have the other aspect of politics. They're like, oh, the America's not going to be white anymore. Oh, right. And then they have this whole society, a whole system, this whole white culture that they've defined off of success and excellent and always being ahead of the minorities. And then so when the economy is bad, guess who's the first one not to have babies? That's right, white people. And then when white people don't have babies, right, then they're bitching about, we're losing the election. Oh, the country is this and that. But why are we losing the election? And they get real stupid and they show you the fucking map and it's like all red. Look, the whole country is Republican and why are the Democrats winning? And it's literally like nobody lives out there. But like there's like 3 people in a county and they're like, and the whole county is red. And it's like, nobody lives there. Nobody lives in Wyoming. Like, the fuck are you talking about? Right? So this is how they think of shit. But I'm just saying, again, if I was white supremacy, right, I would be doing things differently. But again, as I've always said, it's my belief white supremacy is on the back burner. White supremacy is a smokescreen. It's a hologram. It's an illusion. What it really is it's classism. It's class supremacy. You know what I mean? Like they don't give a like, oh, yes, it's all about whiteness. It's not about whiteness. If you got some poor white genes, they don't give a fuck about you and your poor white genes. You and your poor working class white genes. And so the white folks don't fucking get that. But I'm saying, going back to the gas station, I know I kind of went off and I'm coming back around. Going off on the whole gas station thing, like, that's the way that it's got to be. You know what I mean? Because, the old niggas will come out and, I gave a young man a word. I spoke to him and put Christ in his heart. They've been talking that shit for what, like 60 years? And the shit has gotten what? Progressively worse. They've had their time to correct the problem. They didn't correct it. And they're not going to correct it going out there just talking. At the end of the day, if you don't have gainful employment for young men, white or black, if you don't have gainful employment for young men, for them to start their lives and provide for a family and purchase a home and have a positive male identity that's contributing to the overall society, if you don't make it some way as a society easy for men to be able to do that, then you're going to end up with rogue males. And rogue males will cannibalize the community. Rogue males are not going to fight your foreign wars, for all this shit with the nations and this nation versus. They're not going to fight for that shit. They're going to say, what am I fighting for? Fighting for what? For what? And then that's why they're going to have to enact a draft. Why? I'm telling you, that draft is coming. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it because the reason why it got shut down before is because a bunch of rich white folks got sucked up into that shit when people started calling that out. First they were like, oh yeah, get the poor blacks to go. Oh yeah, get these other people to go. Get them all to go, right? And then the people started bitching. They were like, wait a minute, all we see is poor blacks, poor whites, and poor Hispanics and shit. We need to see the senator's son up there. That's what that damn song is. What song? Who sings that song about the senator's son? What's that anti-war song? Let me see if I can find it. Anti-war song, senator's son. What's the song called? Fortunate Son is a song by an American rock band, Creedence Clearwater Revival. That's what it's called. Released on the 4th studio album, Willie and the Poor Boys, in 1969. It was previously released as a single together with Down on the Corner. Yeah, so the whole song, why is Fortunate Son an anti-war song? What is this? Fogarty added he's issuing a cease and desist order. Fogarty went on to explain that Fortunate Son is ironically an anti-war movement anthem that criticized privileged people who use their money and status to defer from Vietnam War draft. You know, Donald Trump with the heel spurs, right? You see, again, this is about class warfare. Class warfare. Say it with me, white people sitting in the back. Say it with me. Say it with me. You know, what's his name? Steven Crowder. Say it with me, Ben Shapiro. Say it with me. You know, say it with me, all the Candace Owens. Say it with me. Say it with me, Gavin McGinnis. Say it with me now. Fuck out of here. Sitting up there, you know, what we need to do is bring Christ back, and we need to have families with a Christian moral framework, and bring God back, and that will create intact home. You're not going to get intact homes. You're not going to get the wonder years if you do not have young men being gainfully employed to be able to provide for a family and live with some goddamn dignity. I didn't just say barely making it. I said living with some goddamn dignity. That's what I said. And so again, if nobody wants to do that, well, get car. If nobody wants to do that, get carjacked. That's all I got to say about it. Get fucking carjacked, bitch, because that's what's going to happen. Because you know, survival does not wait for assimilation. It does not wait for acceptance. Just like some clip I was watching about Cubans going off to the Florida Keys and shit. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, how fucking bad does it have to be in your country for you to literally pick up your shit and leave? You know what I'm saying? Like, even with the Europeans, I keep trying to explain to Europeans or white people that, but prior to the Americas, Europeans in Europe were living like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're running around screaming democracy. And I'm like, it was kings, queens, nobles, and peasants. And y'all run around still paying homage to European, rulership and whatnot. You know what I mean? And all that's happened in America is that the kings and queens have been replaced with the business class, the capitalist. That's all that's happened. But the Europeans, I'm like, think about it. How bad did it have to be in Europe? How bad did it have to be in Ireland? Right? How bad did it have to be for those people to say, fuck it, we're going to America. Pack up the bags, pack up the kids, we're leaving. Okay? People don't like to leave. People don't like change. People don't like that shit. Most people want to stay in their state. Most people that fled California and went to freaking Texas, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't want to leave, but they left because of the politics. They left because of the crime and all that other stuff. And I know people are going to be like, oh, it's the Democrats and it's all this shit. Like I said, the problem with the Democrats is the Democrats care way too much. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, poor you, But the problem with the conservatives, the funny part is they're the ones that run around always screaming the light of Christ and Jesus, but they're the most non-compassionate motherfuckers out there, right? The problem with the conservatives is the conservatives don't have any compassion at all. The conservatives are just like, oh, fuck them, you either swim or sink, and that's all there is to it, right? Completely ignoring white privilege, completely ignoring, wealth that was accrued over the course of generations, by marginalizing other people. They just, we woke up, I was born, and I just so happen to be here, and you just so happen to be down there, and that's just how they view it, it reminds me of like Cap and I, we always get a kick out of the scene at the beginning of the scene of Aliens versus Predator. When they went on that planet and they were being hunted down, like they were on a gaming freaking planet or whatever. Oh, we always crack up because the movie starts off, motherfuckers wake up in free fall. You know what I mean? I mean, just to talk about the unfairness of the world, like, and some people like had parachutes that just didn't open, like they had no chance. Like you woke up in free fall. There's nothing you can do but fall. And they found that one guy in the forest and shit like that. They're like, oh, his parachute didn't open, right? I'm like, damn, like Predators, you gonna get somebody, you got all this fucking technology, you got cloaking devices, shoulder cannons, you know what I mean, boomerang disc, right? You got all this technology, you can't even give my man a parachute that works? Nah, he just sprayed, they just found him in the forest all crumpled up, you know, like a balled up piece of paper, you know what I mean? You know, slamming into the ground. Who knows what the gravity was on that planet, you know? It might not have been 9.8 meters per second squared. Who knows? You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm just saying, I look at that video, I'm like, this is what it is. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to meet force with force. If people want to go out there and they want to have a conversation and say, hey, da 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 da, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to meet force with force. Somebody's going to have to get their wig split. Before somebody says, oh shit, they serious. Yes, they're serious. You know what I mean? When people are all jammed up and they're all screwed up economically and they're already barely making, the last thing they need is your stinking ass coming up trying to rob them of the little bit that they do fucking have. You know what I mean? But, you know, again, that's a two-way street when it comes to the elders and the olders, when it comes to young men and the economic opportunities. I'm like, so let me get this right. So you was just fucking and these kids are just a byproduct of your fornication and busting a nut. But you didn't set anything up for these young men. Yeah, okay, yeah, all right, motherfucker. Yeah, get carjacked. Get carjacked. Well, that's not my job. You know, I brought him here. You know, it's his job to behave. You know, that's on him. Again, get carjacked. Get fucking carjacked. You know what I mean? So that's just how I look at it. But I already know that the old heads are going to come through, you know, and they're going to tell you about, you know, again, taking credit from the people. They always come in fourth quarter trying to take credit and shit like that. See, brother, I see you out here standing with that AR-15, you know, but that's because the Lord is working through you, right? Not because he decided I'm sick of this shit. I'm gonna go out here and do something about it, or I'm gonna join whatever this what security company, whatever it is. I don't even know how they're organized and what they got going on over there. You know what I mean? But looked like the brothers in the video were proud of what they were doing. They felt good about the reactions that they were getting from the people in the community. And I hope that they continue to you know, do what they do. You know what I mean? But I already know, you know, them damn black Christians gonna come through and try to take credit and they'll be all anti-gun and all this other shit. Like, so let me get this right. So we just supposed to be out there with nothing but our ass while these young boys got all the firepower? Yeah, well, they need to pass, the Democrats need to pass these laws and make sure that the people don't have access to these guns. Pookie already got access to the guns. He already got what he got, and he ain't giving it up. So now what you got? Now what you got? So you want to disarm me, so I'm out there with nothing but my ass, and I got freaking, you know, Ray Ray and Pookie running around with extendos and shit. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just simple-minded shit. Just simple-minded, you know, violence only begets more violence. You know, that old ass, the old nigga talk. Old nigga talk. We got no time for old nigga talk. Y'all niggas had y'all time. Y'all had y'all run. Okay? Y'all sucked at that shit. And now it's time for the next generation to see if they can do something about the shit. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. That's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.